We're on activity 3, which is where we're going to actually solve the heating question about the schools. So, reminder, we've just been trying to figure out which heating system will warm the school even more. And now we're ready to receive a key piece of evidence that they've been keeping from us the whole time that will help us answer this question. So far, they've just told us that one tank is larger here, the groundwater, and one tank is smaller. The bit that they're giving us now, which they could have given us a long time ago, is that the groundwater tank actually holds exactly 3 times as much water as the heated tank. So this groundwater tank at 30 degrees Celsius is 3 times larger than the water heater tank, which has 39 degrees Celsius water. So now that we know that the tank is 3 times larger, we can test out some samples in the sim. In the sim, we can test out how much how much the water heater system and the groundwater system will warm the school, since a large sample has 3 times as many molecules as a small sample. So, quick question before we actually explore in the sim: which system do you think will heat the school more? We know the temperature of the school, we know the temperature of the water, and we now have the relative sizes of the tanks, so we can use the sim to set up and test these. So on question 105, there's a link to the instructions, which is right here. There's a link to the sim, which is right there. You'll complete this activity in Amplify. So let's preview it really quickly. When you click on the link to the instructions, it'll take you here. Use the sim to answer our question: which heating system will warm the air in the school more? So we're going to run 2 tests. We've got test number 1, which is the water heater system, which is going to use a smaller heat source. And we've got test number 2, the groundwater system. This will be a larger heat source. So let's look at the instructions. For the test 1, in thermal energy simulation, add a large sample to represent the air inside the school. Cool this sample to 11.4 degrees Celsius. Then add a small sample to represent the water in the water heater. Warm this to 38.6 degrees Celsius. Put the samples together to find out the equilibrium temperature and record it down here. So you'll type in the equilibrium temperature. So you tested the water heater system to figure out what temperature it could raise the air in the school to. Now let's test the groundwater system. This time, we are still going to add a large sample to represent the air inside the school. Cool this down to 11.4. And what's different with sample 2 is you're going to add a large sample rather than a small sample. You're adding a large sample to represent the groundwater. Warm this sample up to 29.5 degrees Celsius. Once you've done that, you'll put the samples together and figure out the equilibrium temperature and write it here. So, based on your findings in the sim, which system will warm the school more during winter? Why will heating the system in the school work more? Why will this heating system warm the school more? So go ahead and complete these, pause it, do the sim, answer the questions. Okay, 106. What were your findings from the sim? Which heating system warmed the school air or sample the most? If you just want to copy and paste from Amplify for question 106, you are welcome to do that. 107. Which of the heating systems would work better for the school? Which would you recommend and why? And then question 108. How would you revise the following statement from our anticipation guide? The statement said, hotter things have more energy than colder things. Is this true? Is that what we saw with the heating system and the sim?